In 1996, Jan de Bont delivered the quintessential 90s disaster flick that defined a generation. With Jurassic Park's Michael Crichton as screenwriter and starring Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt, Twister was a perfect combination of camp, heart, and the destructive force of nature, and while it may not have been the biggest and most beloved film to come out of the 90s, it still holds firm as one of that decade's gems. And while maybe not the most obvious pick to springboard a franchise from, Hollywood must leave no stone unturned, and Twister's time has come. Directed by Lee Isaac Chung, Twisters is a reboot/standalone sequel to the 90s film, starring Daisy Edgar Jones as Kate Carter, meteorologist and storm chaser, who has come up with an untested theory for how to effectively kill a tornado, depriving it of the moisture needed to form such storms. After a disastrous first test, Kate leaves the world of storm chasing behind, until dragged back in by an old friend, Johnny, played by Anthony Ramos. Upon her return to the field, she crosses paths with Tyler Owens, famous YouTuber and storm wrangler, and after a friction-filled first meeting, the two slowly begin to see eye to eye. While there are plenty of Easter eggs, homages, and nods to the original film, Twisters truly is a standalone sequel, bringing back none of the original cast or characters, with the plot spiritually connected to the first through the idea of new untested tech that could save lives. Twisters stands on its own in every other aspect, full of camp and cheesy one-liners much like its predecessor and ample amounts of spectacle and deadly weather. Chung and his crew clearly recognized a lot of why the original was so beloved, working hard to maintain a similar tone in their sequel. Glen Powell still proves why his star continues to rise as a leading man, charismatic and charming as ever opposite Jones's Kate, who is smart and capable but filled with doubt. The two share solid chemistry and complement one another well as characters, making them easy to root for. Twisters is a fun romp that has conquered this weekend's box office and brought audiences out in droves. While it has not completely endeared itself to the critics, viewer scores and reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and CinemaScore have been terrific, garnering a 92% and A- score respectively. I can see why critics have been more harsh truthfully, as the film isn't particularly above and beyond what it could have been, and is more or less on par with the original, without much to offer that hasn't been seen before. Kate's theory, while interesting, isn't as believable or factually possible as the original films, though it's not entirely outside of the realm of possibility. Many outlets have already noted that there just would be no way to accomplish such a thing at present. Likewise, the film embraces the camp, laughs, and fun, but struggles in moments of suspense and danger in comparison to the original. And while there are some solid emotional points in the movie, they fell in comparison to the original as well. That said, while Twisters may ask you to suspend its disbelief a little more than it should have, it's above and beyond any modern disaster film I can think of, staying faithful to the spirit of the original while doing its best to stand on its own 2 feet. Twisters deserves all the praise and money it's currently getting from audiences. Devoid of modern messaging, rhetoric, and politics, it's a well-made movie that's simply fun. And the more films like it continue to do well, the more Hollywood may finally get the message that audiences just want to be entertained. I give Twisters 2.5 out of 4 stars.